It wasn't too long ago that if you wanted to build and deploy your own product service, something like a Saas, that was going to cost you 6 months of development, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a massive amount of effort with probably a team of multiple developers. I know this because I did that back in 2023. I was running my own tech startup, had a small team of developers. We spent probably $400,000 in about 2 years building this application, and we didn't even really get that far. Now today, with the advancement of AI agents, you can build some really cool products that you can monetize from day one in literally 10 minutes. And no, that is not an exaggeration. I'm going to show you an example of 3 products that I built out, super simple, but that have a Stripe and AI integration so that you can start selling them immediately as long as you have a good idea. Now, in order for me to do this, of course, I used an AI agent, and the particular agent that I'm going to show you today is the Abacus AI DeepAgent. Now, this is a part of the Chat LLM team subscription, which you can get for as low as $10 per month. And if you want advanced use of DeepAgent, you want more credits, more usage of it, you can pay $20 per month and get access to this. I'll leave a link to it in the description in case you want to check it out, but I've used this many times, have many videos covering it, and that's because it is genuinely super, super cool. And I'm going to show you 3 examples right now. Okay, so let's hop into these examples, and I've intentionally picked ones that are realistic and apps that you may actually want to build where you could genuinely start making some money from them as long as you have a little bit of marketing. Now, the first application that I made is simply kind of a live tutoring application where you're able to book tutoring sessions. So a lot of times, people want to offer tutoring services, In order to do that, you need like some kind of calendar integration and usually some kind of payment provider. In my case, I'm using Stripe. So I just made a super simple landing page here by just prompting DeepAgent. I'll walk you through some of the prompts here in a second, where essentially it pitches me, Tech with Tim. Hey, if you want to book a personalized tutoring session, you can do that. Simple landing page, goes through the key kind of components here. And then you can pick if you want to book a 30-minute session or a 60-minute session, and you can see a slight discount for the 60-minute session. Now, in order for this to work, I do actually need to deploy it. So I'm just going to go ahead and press on the deploy button. I'll just go with an Abacus AI domain. I'll just go Tech with Tim. Okay, and we'll go ahead and deploy that. And then what I can do is just go to this URL here. We'll wait a second, and you can see that it loads up here pretty fast. We've got the animations, and if I click to book a 60-minute session, you can see that it kind of brings up this payment form. I can enter my information here, and then I can go pay $250 and continue. And what it's going to do is redirect me to a Stripe site here, where you can see this is my company, Tech with Tim Free Zone Company, and you're able to enter your information and we'll pay $250 and then book the session. Of course, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to waste my own money, but you get the idea. So pretty cool site, pretty straightforward. I'm going to show you really quickly how I was able to do that. So again, like I said, I'm using DeepAgent. Now, the really cool thing about DeepAgent is that it has access to its own computer. So if I actually press, you can see this is kind of the current computer because it's not doing anything. And I gave it a prompt like this, where I said, create a sleek, minimal website for Tech with Tim offering this. Not too long, pretty straightforward prompt. It asked me a few questions. So about the pricing, duration, topics, etc. I gave it the information, and then it just told me to put in my Stripe keys. Now, I'll blur these out because obviously I don't want you to see them. These are real keys, but I was able to put in the publishable key and the secret key, which I got from my Stripe account, gave me the instructions to find those, and then it just set up the integration for me. It then went and built out the entire application. This took about 10 minutes, and then I told it there was some issue, right? Like the button to pay doesn't seem to work. It actually went into the computer, loaded up the application, and started debugging it. Now, I want to show you what that looks like because you can see it was running all of these different computer actions, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to run this kind of command here. You see it's changed the view a little bit. We're able to view the database, right? We also can view all of the different code, although right now it's currently running, so it's not giving us access to that. But if I click on this little computer view here, you'll see that this will actually start loading up different windows. It will start messing around with the application and not only just coding it out like a lot of the other agents do, but actually running the computer action. So you see it just opened the browser for me. I'm just going to kind of watch it here for a second and see what it does. Okay, so you can see it just loaded up the website here, and now we get all these computer actions. It is a little bit slow, but that's pretty normal here. You can see it's loaded up, it's scrolling down, and then it is going to go in and type the information. Let's wait for that to run. Okay, so I can see it's kind of selecting the form here. Again, on every change, it does need to re-look at the page. So it should select 60-minute session. Okay, perfect. Then it should enter some dummy data here. Okay, and it just took a second, entered the kind of fake information, and that's going to attempt to actually press on the pay button, hopefully at least. Okay, so interesting. So it's actually smart enough to know that it should open the console to see if there's any logs there. So it's done that, and now let's see the next actions. Okay, and then it's pressed the payment button. It's seen that this page is actually loaded, so it's working here. And then it should tell us, okay, all is good. I just wanted to show you that it can actually run in its own browser, has access to its own computer. It can run commands. It can look at the terminal. It can look at the console, which is really interesting and allows it to make these really advanced applications. So I'm going to stop that for right now, and I want to go and show you a few other demos. Okay, so here's another quick demo. I'm just going to open up the deployed URL here. So let's give it a second. This is essentially like a lead magnet. So a lot of times people have these really cheap lead magnets that are like $1 or $5 where they're trying to drive a lot of traffic to the page, and then they upsell you to another product later on. So here you can see we have the complete developer roadmap, right? This is just a fake roadmap. I don't actually have one here. And you can buy it for $1. You just need to enter your email. So I'm going to enter the email, go ahead and press on get it for $1. And then same thing is going to bring me to the Stripe link. Now here, I'm actually going to test the payment because I want to see what happens next. Okay, and I just made the payment, and you see it brings me to this page here and says, all right, your roadmap is ready. You can press this button and download it. And then it tries to upsell you here to the Dev Launch program, my like high ticket kind of training program, which is obviously much more expensive. So that's that. That's literally it. Pretty cool. I'm just testing it again in like a real URL to make sure that this works. Don't go here. This is not a real like thing. I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just trying to demonstrate this does indeed work. Okay, so that's one of the sites. Now, if you wanted to, of course, you can look at the code. You can see all of it inside of the folder here. You can edit the code directly. You can have a look inside of the database. You can go into the debugger, and you can manage all of your applications from their kind of deployment dashboard. So if I just open the left-hand side here and I go to the apps view, you can see that we have all these different apps that I've built with DeepAgent, some of them deployed, some not, and I can configure the domain, I can mess with the database, I can change all of the storage options and everything like that. I can also then modify it, right, and keep working on it, or take this offline and start making the changes myself in my own code editor. Okay, so those are two examples. Now let's go to the last one, if I can find it here, which is an AI-powered resume reviewer. Now I'm going to deploy this one as well, and then let's check it out. Okay, so here we go. This one's a little bit more complex where it does actually have authentication, and you can upload your resume and then get AI feedback on that. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so I just uploaded one of my students' resumes actually because those are the ones that are most accessible to me. And you can see that it gives me some information here like the structure score, keyword score, and clarity score. And I did that by using an OpenAI integration directly within DeepAgent where I just passed it my OpenAI API key. Gives me some insights and then says if I want to upgrade for $9 a month, I can do that. Same thing, I could go here, make the payment, and then we use the Stripe integration as I did before and give me access to the premium features. I made this with literally just one prompt. That was it. If we go back here, you can see that there was one prompt where I asked it what I want. It asked me for the OpenAI API key. Again, I will delete this afterwards. And then it just went and it built the entire thing. And there we go. We have a fully featured application that we could start selling. Now, of course, you'd make some adjustments to it. We want to make it a little bit better, add some other features, make sure it's working 100%. But generally, I'm very impressed with DeepAgent. I've used it a ton over the past 6 months, and I'd highly recommend you check it out if you want to build applications like this, where they have real integrations and can actually be useful and start making you money from day one. So with that said, guys, that's all I had to show you in this video. If you thought this was interesting, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.